Welcome, the War Chief of Light is back with another epic video. Hi, my name's PBE, but you lovely people are more than welcome to call me Peeps. Should I? Well, you know what? Screw it, we're going there. Heavensward is the best expansion I've ever played, period, on point. That's it. I said what I said. Yeah. And we're going to talk about why, because there's a lot. But before getting into that, if you like these kind of videos, you like lore, deep dives, gaming, just nerdy stuff in general, well, honey, you're home. Hit that subscribe button because listen, we tend to do nerdy here pretty well. All right. I know why you're here. You want to hear my thoughts on Heavensward, and we're jumping into it right now. Psst. We're going to keep storytelling for last because holy fuck, it's so good. How do I make a player explore the entire continent, enjoy the land and the work that I've put in as a developer, learn about the populace, their problems, who they are as people, all at once? I know. Let's take away flying, time gate the shit out of it, and put it behind some ridiculous rep grinds. Oh shit, sorry, wrong game. Instead, Final Fantasy XIV introduces Aether Currents. The point of this is you have to go out in the world, find the Aether Currents through quests or just on the ground in general, and that will get you to learn the flight movement better so you can fly in these zones. So yes, it forces you to learn about the populace through quests. Yes, it forces you to actually learn the land a little bit and the key points. And no, it's not time gated. It takes, what, a half hour if you're slow? And you're rewarded with flying right away. Put in the work, you get the flying, and you learn a lot about the area that you're playing in. And let's be honest, I googled it. And you did too. Don't look at me with those judgy eyes. I know you did. But with that, 15 minutes? Half hour, all while I was waiting for some old raid or some old duty to pop off. A Sunday, and I had them all done. Telling you, this is genius. And it forces you to do those things in the game without forcing you. It doesn't feel forced. Good job. Now, one of the big points of A Realm Reborn that everyone hated was jumping around. Listen, how often for one measly quest did you have to change cities 2, 3, 5 times and then come back? To you little house hunters out there, I probably spent enough gil to buy a house already because, wow, that teleporting was used. Now, I'm not going to tell you don't bounce around at all. Yes, you do have to go to areas here and there, and yes, you'll have to use a teleporter or some gil or whatever the case may be. But it's not that bad, and it's not that often. They bring it down a whole lot, so at least it's more linear, and you don't have to get that distraction to go from place to place that often. Little improvement, but I found it to be a big improvement. Another small improvement that they made that was big in my eyes, and this one you may disagree with me, and that's okay. They upped the level of difficulty for pretty much all the dungeon bosses, duty bosses. I will fix that language. We're getting there. The trials, the raids, all these bosses now have a little teeth to them. And it's awesome. I love that challenge. I love needing to do things right or failing, learning, coming back, and destroying. That's what keeps me interested in PvE, period. So honestly, The encounters are great, they're imaginative, and they're hard. They're hard for the first time, and I love it. It's stuff I crave. Put it this way, my favorite bosses and trials and stuff like that are from Heavensward now. Ravana, which let me tell you, that thing is harder on regular than it is on hard. But it's awesome. So awesome. Now, I could go on and tell you about, well, Heavensward added new raids, new duties, new trials, new lands, new people. Listen, honey, it's an expansion. That happens for all of them. But what it did above everybody else, and yes, we're getting there finally, is storytelling. Buckle up. In A Realm Reborn, you bounced from situation to situation, and yes, it did all come into a nice little bow at the end, and yes, it was good. I'm not dissing on A Realm Reborn. Great, and then outranked by amazing is not a bad thing. Heavensward is a lot more linear. Yes, there's a little bit of, oh, a situation appears. Okay, we're back here. But it's not that bad. And yes, it still comes together in a nice little bow at the end, so nailed it. But it also brings in this relatively new idea that the things that you are seeing in the game have a very real feeling emotion to them. It all feels real, and we're going to get into that and why in a couple minutes, but you'll see what I mean. Now, let's be honest, like most Final Fantasy games, you're going to expect to go through a ride with some twists that you expect, some twists that you never expected, and in those big climactic scenes to feel something. But Heavensward drove that hammer home. There's a certain scene, and you know exactly which it is if you've ever played it. And guys, there's no spoilers, so be good in those comments. I'll leave my reaction to that certain scene in whichever corner it pops up. But bitch, after that scene, that real emotion to get the baddie was intense. I want to shove my little Lalafell foot so far up there. Whoa, sorry, got a little heated. But that's part of it. That's the ride you're being put through. You felt that, you got angry, and you played on because you needed to know what happened to the baddie and how you're going to get him. In this expansion, when tragedy strikes, you cry. Okay, I cried. I cried a lot. Yeah, I know. I did it all on stream too, which is another thing, but you know. When victory happens and you win the great battles, you feel that joy. You see the emotion out of it. And watching the populace deal with your victory even makes it feel so much grander. They nail that feeling. I'm also going to add a little bit to the touches that they made to make this feel real world. This part, yes, we're going to have some spoilers because I couldn't not include it. It's big to me. So, on the screen right now, there's a timestamp. If you want no spoilers, go straight to it there. I'm not going to mess you around. I'm not going to be that player that ruins it for you. Timestamp. For the rest of us who've seen it, done it, or don't care, the Holy See. Yeah, they were something else. And we've seen that before. We have. Think about it. Go back to history class. Have you seen a large dictator fall? Have you seen a king lose grip of his power? Have you seen a religion fall to a great mass of people? You did. I'm going to give you 2 examples and how Square Enix brought that forward so that today we see true to life what actually happened put in a video game. Ready? 1. The separation of Rome and Henry VIII in England. He decided to abdicate his religion to become head of state and head of church for his religion, and then forced it onto his populace. So he told his populace, your religion is false, my religion is correct, you need to change. And yes, there could be some painful penalties for not. If you look back at your history, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen over 10, 15, 20 years. It took 3 fucking generations for people to stop with the riots, stop with the planning, stop with the assassination attempts. Yeah, King James, the guy that wrote the next Bible, he actually still had an assassination attempt, which is so very fucking famous, Guy Fawkes. I'll see a picture. About religion, still. And he was the 4th one to take the crown after Henry. 4th. Example number 2, the French Revolution. I know, we're going back to school. The French Revolution was fought intensely by the bourgeoisie and all the people in power and wealth, especially the wealthy. Of course they wanted to keep their position, wouldn't you? Let them eat cake. And yes, I'm aware it was Laissez manger la brioche. Different video. But you see, it didn't end overnight. It took decades after the King and Queen of France were killed before they actually set government. So these are real world, real event situations for these massive changes of power. And Final Fantasy took that and put it in game. What's the first thing you deal with after the Holy See falls? The wealthy. People who believed. The heretics. People that still don't know what to believe because they believed for so long. People that are fighting because their loved ones died for that religion. That's all real. That happened. And in fact, I'd even argue that Square Enix could have pushed it just a little bit further, but listen, they brought us to school and I live for it. Hi! Spoiler-free PB here. Either way, to sum everything I just set up, Ishgard feels real. And I'm Canadian, so it looks real to me, at least the snow. And that puts Heavensward above anything I've ever played so far. And you want to know the part that really blows my mind? The amount of comments and the amount of people that tell me, sit down, girl. Shadowbringers is coming. What? It gets better? Yes, I'm still in disbelief. So those were my thoughts. What were your thoughts of Heavensward? Or are you about to walk into Heavensward and are you interested? You can't wait? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, give me a big old thumbs up. If you didn't, well, cool. Be honest with me. I'm a big girl. I can handle it. Bonus points if you tell me why you didn't like it. Feedback is the best way to improve. And if you like videos like these nerdy bits, lore, gaming, Final Fantasy, deep dives, or I don't know, me, hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, ring that bell. That way you'll get notifications every time I go live or upload, which is a lot. I live stream 3 nights a week. I upload at least a video a week. Most of the time I hit 2. Whew, we keep busy. Another way to support the channel is through our membership program. Hit the join button. Cheap to do so. You get some emojis to use in the chat. And FYI, it is 110% optional. There will be no hidden content behind that paywall. Ever. We're gamers. We hate when shit's behind a paywall. So, I won't do it to you. Alright, well thanks so much for being here. Have a legendary day, and I can't wait to see you guys again on the next one. Or in Stormblood. Eee! Bye! I seriously have not been immersed in a story like that in a long fucking time. Whew! Final Fantasy? I'm hooked. Maybe I'm a